So, I'm excited to be here. So my name is Hotaka Maeda, and I work for Smarter Balanced. I did this project with Catherine. She's not here today, so I'm presenting. Past couple of years, I've been thinking about lots of different applications of AI, and today I'll be talking about an application of AI that you may not have thought about. It's about tagging items with their topics. Background. So what do I mean by topics? Basically, it's whatever the item is talking about or discussing that's unrelated to the blueprint or whatever we're trying to assess. For example, in an English language arts assessment, maybe students would read about elephants and they answer some questions about elephants or the passage. In this case, we're not trying to assess the student's knowledge level about elephants. We're trying to assess their English skills. But it's just a story about elephants, and we're just using that in the passage. So in that case, elephants would be the topic. Or you could also call it mammals or animals or biology. So why are topics important? And I think there's 3 different main reasons why topics are important. And in my opinion, student interest is the most important reason. So when students see our exams and assessments, we want them to be interested in the topic. We want them to be interested in whatever they read or whatever they're assessed on. And by increasing their interest, maybe we can increase their engagement and motivation, and that could actually help the accuracy of the scores because the scores would reflect what they actually know about the subject. We've also been exploring the idea of letting students choose the items that they take. For example, students could read about elephants or about mountains. They could choose. And that could further increase the engagement. So that's one reason why topics are important. The second reason is locally responsive assessment or culturally responsive assessment. At Smarter Balanced, we have a large item bank, and we use that same item bank in multiple different states. But some states, they have rules about what they want to include or exclude in the assessment. For example, a state like Hawaii, they may want to include more items about oceans just because it's more relevant for that geography or region. The third reason why topics are important is just a general item bank analysis. Again, our item bank is huge. We have tens of thousands of items, and we've never analyzed how many animal items are there or how many ocean items are there. By analyzing the topic distribution, maybe we find areas where we need more items developed, or maybe we have too many animal items and we don't need any more of those. Mm-hmm. So it could help us guide item development. So our item bank is huge, and we don't want to tag item topics manually. We want to try to use AI and automate it. So in this project, we tried 2 different methods, and this is the first method. Basically, the first method, we used two AI models. The first model would group similar items together based on their topics or their topics. And the second model would name those groups. So I generated these images using AI. So the first robot is sorting these balls into different boxes based on similarity. And then the second robot naming those boxes. So that's the idea. And the first robot is called Top2Vec. It's a Python package, and it groups together items based on semantics. The second robot is ChatGPT, or GPT 3.5. The results look like this. Hopefully you can see it. The first, every row represents a topic, and you can see some English language arts stimulus or passages and items, also math stimulus and items, categorized into these groups. For the the very first row, the very first topic, the top 10 words associated with it was frog, frogs, bullfrog, toad, tadpole, croak, jump, platypus, chameleon, and turtle. And that was what Top2Vec, the Python package, did. So we took these 10 words and asked ChatGPT to create a summary, a topic name for these words. And it came up with amphibians and reptiles. So I think that's a pretty good representation of these 10 words. And also these 10 words are pretty similar words that are associated with each other, which shows that the method is working. But some of these other topics like baked goods and bakery, I think are too similar and they need to be merged together. And another example, like classical music, we had 4,000 items go into classical music. I really doubt that we have 4,000 items on classical music, so maybe the categorization might need to be tuned. But overall, I think the idea was working.
What's the end? What's the overall?
We had like 25,000 items or something like that total. So it's a lot, yeah. Overall, we found 68 topics total with this method, but that's actually after removing 149 topics. And we removed these topics because they were related to English and math. Like topics like writing, reading, equations, graphing. Those are what we were assessing, so it's not really a topic. So we had to remove a bunch of topics. And interestingly, 31% of the items had 0 topics. And when we took a look at those items, it made sense because they were like math equations, and you just had to solve the equation. So, on average, we found about three topics per item. If we exclude the items with 0 topics, we had an average of 4.7 topics per item. Maybe this was too many topics that we found. But yeah, this is the results. So the second approach of tagging items with topics is completely different. The humans, we created 11 topics manually, and then we got AI model to categorize items into those 11 bins. So I like this picture because if you count these buckets, there's actually 11 buckets. So the robot is sorting these rocks into these 11 buckets. That's the idea. The model we used was called the zero-shot Facebook BART MNLI model. It's a classification model. These topic names, again, humans came up with these. Animals, architecture, art, aviation, astronomy, books and literature, flowers, trees, plants, food and drinks, history, music, sports, weather and climate. I think that's a pretty good spread of topics that covers like everything in the world. We probably missed some, but I think it's a decent list. So these results, we're just showing the stimulus with the passages that we used for English and math. With this method, we forced every stimulus to have exactly one topic. And you can see the distribution. Yeah, you can see all the topics had some stimuli categorized into them. But overall, the first method was a very flexible method where we let the AI do its thing and it found the topics for us. But the problem was the output was very flexible and it found too many English and math topics, and maybe some of the topics were too similar to each other. The second method was the complete opposite, where the output was very clean and controlled. We had 11 topics exactly, one topic per stimuli exactly. But the problem was we may have missed some important topics, and also some items may have been forced into inappropriate topics. So in conclusion, the problem with this, the thing that made this research difficult was we didn't have a criterion, we didn't have a gold standard, we couldn't calculate any accuracy statistics or reliability statistics, because there's no, like, we're not comparing it to human judgment. It's like an initial exploratory study. Right? The methods seem to have worked, but I think we need to rethink what we find is actually useful. How many topics do we actually want? Maybe we want a hierarchy of topics, like we want elephants and animals, like hierarchies. And ultimately, I think a combination of method 1 and 2 would be the best. So first we can use method 1 and let AI generate some topics that are present in our item bank, find the topics for us. And then we can use human judgment to determine whether these topics are useful, whether we want to keep them or drop them, maybe merge some topics. And the second step would be to use method 2 to categorize these items into these bins, these topics. And definitely we want to allow items to have 0 or more than one topic. But yeah, that's been our experience, and thank you for your time. If you have any questions,